Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So, this is something that I've been looking into for, I don't know, I feel like 2 weeks or so. I first came to know about the situation where, and I just want to say this is allegedly, this is information that I am being told. Um, so take it for what you want. I know Ronald is threatening to sue particular people that discuss the situation. So I'm just putting it out there. This is one side of the story. I will give like a rundown of what Ronald is saying about one case in particular where he does defend himself. But we're going to be talking about Ronald from 90 Day Fiance. You guys know Ronald from 90 Day Fiance the other way. This is him right here. Blessed. Um, and he started the show. He and his fiancee Tiffany, they were on 90 Day Fiance the other way, season one, which I think they were actually on multiple seasons. I've watched the entire first season just to get reacquainted with Ronald and Tiffany. I watched it way back when, but I really wanted to make sure that I watched it again just to get like reacquainted with them. Either way, Ronald and his fiancee Tiffany, who became his wife, they started filming in late 2017, early 2018, and the episodes were released in late 2018. From my understanding, we were introduced to the couple. When we were introduced to the couple, we learned that Tiffany was from Maryland, the United States. She went to South Africa with a friend of hers on a little vacation, and she met Ronald. She said she felt a connection with Ronald. Let's see. She felt a connection with Ronald, and she said, even though she was there with her friend, once she met Ronald, she just, like, her and Ronald, like, it's what it was. Like, they were all about each other. Um, that it was like nobody else was in the room. Hold on, guys. And still, like, while there, hanging out with Ronald, she felt like she was in love. Like, she already felt like she was in love. So this was like the first trip, from my understanding, this was the first trip when she went to Africa and she met him. I want to turn the audio off because there is dance singing. So these are photos and videos of them. The first night they met, they went to this place called The View, and she said she felt like she was, obviously falling in love with Ronald. So this is on the little vacation when they first met, right? So she comes back home to the States, and they carry on this long distance relationship. Her in the States, him in South Africa. She goes back 6 months into it, and he proposes to her. And she actually intended to apply. From my understanding, she intended to apply for him to get his visa and come to the States because she had her son Daniel. She has a very tight knit, close family. So she actually wanted Ronald to come to the States. I mean, South Africa is a very dangerous place. So, bringing her son over there wasn't like ideal, but she was in love. When the topic came up of Ronald getting his visa, he then told Tiffany that he had gotten into some trouble in the past. Okay. And basically, this is what he says. And we do have a little clip that we're going to watch where he sits down with production and he talks about some of the issues. But he tells Tiffany about some arrests, and he says, "I've been arrested several times, but I've not been convicted of all of them." So that right there, hearing now that 2023, Ronald is allegedly scamming people, and then when you hear of what he tells Tiffany back then of the things that he was being accused of, I don't know. I don't know. It really makes me question because I got so many notes here, you guys. So, okay, here's a few of the things that he talked to Tiffany about and said that he had gotten in trouble for as far as his criminal record. Okay. So he had an addiction to gambling. Gambling led to him stealing money from his boss. It started with $20. He took that $20 to a casino, lost the $20. Then he felt he needed to like steal more money to try to go back to the casino to win what he had lost and to pay back the boss. And it was just a repeated cycle, and he basically never won. So he got a theft charge for that whenever his boss found that out. He was arrested, bonded out. He claimed that he paid his boss back. I don't know. Um, yeah, is it weird that I think never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that because it is kind of weird. Um, he also says that he was arrested on some drug charges. He says he went out with friends one night and he was wearing his friend's jacket because it was cold. And something happened that led the police to searching him and his buddies. And unbeknownst to him, in his friend's jacket, there were drugs. He was arrested for the drugs. Now, these drugs was acid and heroin, I think he said. That's a big charge. I mean, this is not marijuana we're talking about. This is literally acid and um heroin. Thank you, J Neil. Is that how you say it, J Neil? Do you have wrinkles? Not yet. Not really. I mean, if I do that, I do, but not really. I've been pretty fortunate. Can't find the option. Alita, if you're on an iPhone, you'll have to copy the link and post it in your Safari tab, like in your search tab in Safari. I don't know why they make it so hard for iPhones, but that's what you'll have to do. It's really difficult. Or it's not difficult, but it's like a process. Harder than like if you just click the link from a like a just not an iPhone, but a whatever those other phones are. I don't even remember. Okay, so he was arrested for the drugs. He then says that he had a job that he was working that was burglarized, and they thought that it was Ronald. See, he was arrested, but his boss pulled the CCTV footage, saw that it wasn't Ronald, so the charges were dropped. He also claimed that at some point he stole his mom's fridge, and we do have a clip of him. We're gonna watch it. It's from the show where he talks about like stealing his mom's furniture. Okay. So let's watch this little clip really quickly right here. So this is 8 months before Ronald married Tiffany. He sat down with production and the producers asked him if and it was so weird because when he initially sat down, I cut this first clip off, but he was super happy. He's like, "Okay, I got it." He's like fixing everything up, the mic and everything. He's like, "I got it, I got it, I got it." And he's like, "Hello, my name is Ronald, and I'm from South Africa." And he was very like happy. And then they went right into asking him about his arrest, and it looked like he switched from like happy-go-lucky to all of a sudden very frustrated. And I've seen this with Ronald on the show. He seems like really nice, and just like that, he snaps, and that's scary. But anyway, she says, "Can you tell us why you were locked up?" And he said he's had an addiction 2 years clean. And he says he got a few bucks from his mom. But on the show, when he was talking to Tiffany, he talked about an instance where he stole the money from his boss. He actually said his mom would go on vacations and come back home and her house would be empty. Mhm. So he said his mother used to go on vacation, come back, and her house was empty due to him. Ugh. So many red flags. Tiffany did, she acknowledged that. She said, I understand. Me moving to South Africa with my son doesn't seem, she said it seems crazy, but I love this man and I have to give it a fair shot. Um, either way, either way, Tiffany, from my understanding, did not know about Ronald's struggles with addiction until after they were engaged already. It was after they were engaged, she started discussing maybe him getting a visa so he could come to the States. And that's where he spoke up and said, that might be an issue because I have a record, not many convictions, but I do have a record. And he told her about the record. Now, in this clip with production, he said he was 2 years into recovery from his gambling addiction. He got locked up for drinking and driving. He got locked up for speeding. He omitted the acid and heroin charge in this particular clip. He also said that his mom locked him up for burglary in this clip. However, in the show, he talks to Tiffany and says that his boss had him locked up for burglary, but it could be that they both did, that he had a situation with his mom and his boss. Now, 1 month after that interview and 7 months before his wedding, he relapsed. If he was sober, which I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to say that he was really sober. Um, so he checked himself into a rehab facility. He spent 6 months in the facility. This is so wild, right? So she flies out there, falls in love, goes home, has this long distance relationship, flies back out there, gets engaged, goes back home, trying to figure out how they're going to start their life as a family. And then she finds out all these issues that involves, I mean, stealing money from people. And to me, if you like steal money from people, essentially that's like you're like a scammer. You know what I'm saying? Like if you'll steal and con, it's like kind of all the same in my eyes. Either way, they plan their wedding, right? And when they start, I guess, like, the date, the way that it falls, you guys, is he goes into a rehab facility for 6 months, and he is in that facility up until, like, the day, like a week before their wedding. He is in the facility up until like a week before their wedding, and he is in the facility the day that Tiffany lands in South Africa. And she actually, her and Daniel and Ronald's mom actually pick Ronald up from the rehab facility the day after Tiffany lands in South Africa with her son Daniel to start this life together. So here's a clip of them landing. This is Ronald at the facility. He looks really good here. I mean, look at him. He looks great. Uh, right off the bat, he um, had this connection with Daniel. Well, I say right off the bat, but Tiffany and Ronald have been communicating online, over the phone, through Zoom calls, whatever. So I'm sure Daniel knew of him and already had this connection, right? Daniel calls him dad, and Daniel's like, "I love you," you know. So that's the one of the worst parts of this is that Daniel was involved in this, and Daniel seems like such a sweet, innocent little boy who had his dad, ripped away from him. It really sucks. So now this is Ronald's mom, who, from my understanding, has dealt with Ronald's shenanigans, dare I say, for several years. She has had things stolen from her, and it's not just Ronald's mom; it's other family members that has dealt with this as well, being his victims of his. But here she is, right here, and she talks about it. She says after 6 months of him being in rehab, she can see a lot of change in Ronald, and she's so proud of him. Now we're going to go to a clip where Ronald and Tiffany sit down with Ronald's like guidance counselor at the facility, and this guy explains like right now you guys are on this high of planning this wedding. He's on this high of y'all coming here, but when all that settles, when the dust settles, this is where the addiction is gonna like peak back up because he has nothing like feeding that like adrenaline. From this is just from my understanding. Um, addicts usually love like adrenaline, right? So they get like an adrenaline rush from doing these things, gambling, doing drugs, whatever. There's like adrenaline junkies, whatever. It can be like an addiction to the adrenaline, right? So right now he's like on this high from the wedding, from her coming to South Africa and they're starting their lives. So his friend is now concerned, the addiction counselor, he's concerned that once the dust settles, that Ronald will either go back to the original addiction, which is gambling, or he will pick up another addiction, which it seems that maybe, in my opinion, that maybe he has picked either gambling back up or some other type of addiction that calls for money, for him to need money, because there's been several people accuse Ronald at this point of stealing from him to the sum of like I think it was like $20,000. Um, that it's being alleged from what I've been hearing. So he says Ron has been with me for 6 months. I wouldn't want him to lose focus on who he's become here. I don't know if you guys can hear that, so I'm just reading it for you guys. I wouldn't want him to lose focus on who he's become here with all the excitement. He's been victorious in his addiction over gambling, but you must know it can turn into another type of an addiction. And that's where Tiffany really like, you could tell Tiffany had no idea. Like, I think Tiffany only thought that she had to worry about gambling. So when she finds out that it's not just gambling, but it could turn into something else, I think that it kind of hit her hard, you know? Now, this I thought was, if Ronald happens to watch this video, I hope he just kind of watches this part where his mom hugs this man and says, "Thank you." And then she says, "I believe in him." She says, "I believe in him." And I'm excited to see them happy. And yes, I will say Tiffany asked him, "How do you steal a refrigerator?" And he said, "You just put it in your car and steal it." he was just, she's like, "How do you steal a refrigerator?" And he goes, "You just walk in and take it out, put it in your car and steal it." You know, like you just do. So that was a couple of clips from the show just to kind of talk about how everything went. It was really wild. Like, he's addicted to gambling, but he's, 2 years sober. Oh, relapse, got to go to rehab for 6 months. And he seemed to do really well in the rehab. Even Tiffany said on the show, she said, "This is Ronald 2.0. Like, this is a Ronald I've never seen before," right? Either way, he comes home, and Tiffany lives there in South Africa with him for a minute. Like, she gets pregnant. She's there for a few months, right? Now, from what I was told, let me go back and find it. But from what I was told, when they lived there, yes, she got messages from people. Okay, so when she and Ronald were together, there were a few people that he had done sketchy things to when it came to money. He, at one point, we know he stole the fridge from his mom, allegedly. Well, that's what he said on the show. So he can't get me there. He stole the fridge from his mom, right? But he also bought a fridge from a woman, I'm assuming like through Marketplace, and did not give her all the money for it and then blocked her. So he sees the refrigerator online, shows up with half the money, says, "Can I pay you the rest later?" She's nice enough to say yes. He takes the fridge and leaves and never gives her back the money. There was also this family that opened up a private school in South Africa, and Ronald became really good friends with the owners of the school, and they enrolled Daniel in this school because South Africa, like I said, it's really dangerous. So they wanted to ensure that he would be, in the safest place possible when he went to school in South Africa. Daniel did go to school in South Africa. Um, Ronald became friends with the owner, and allegedly, Ronald stole a lot of money from them. I swear, when I put this particular lip gloss on, it always messes with my lips. Either way, Ronald becomes friends with the owner of the private school and allegedly steals a lot of money from them. There were other people that messaged her saying that he took money from them in some sort of way. Um, And Tiffany did say that when she would be contacted by people, that she would always bring it to his attention, ask him what was going on, but he would lie to her about what happened. So she would continue to like be in contact with the people. She would give all the information. She would talk to Ronald's mom about it. She would say, "This is where you can come see Ronald, talk to Ronald, whatever." She tried to hold him accountable so he could not get away with these things. Ultimately, like, people, I think, would like be paid back for the most part. I don't know if it was from the mom or whatever. Um, but this most recent situation happened. Tiffany was contacted, and I have a little clip where she explains what happened recently. Now, Tiffany is no longer with Ronald. Ronald has a girlfriend, and I guess the girlfriend may be aware. I don't know how she wouldn't be aware, but Tiffany went live on her Instagram the other day, and she explains how she was contacted again. Tiffany is no longer in South Africa. She's not with Ronald anymore. She explains on her IG how she was contacted, and a lady was like, listen, it's still your husband, and he stole money from my mom. So she explains the situation here. And she calls him Robert in the video and not Ronald for legal purposes to try to protect herself. Anyways.
A week and a half ago, I was in New Jersey having a great time. And I start seeing these messages go all over the place. First of all, I get a DM from Robert's girlfriend, angry that I'm repeating something that he told me. That was the first mistake. You know what? If I've pushed you out of my life, stay there. Because you don't want to bring yourself back up in my life when I'm the person I am. If I'm not going to bother you, then be lucky. You're lucky I'm not bothering you, right? But you're going to come back, you're going to get it. So that happened. I put her in her place. I made fun of her, whatever, blocked her, whatever. No problem. That's over. Then I get, listen, Rishi, I have to be angry right now. So then I get a bunch of messages, DMs, OMG, what is this? Tiffany, what is this? I said, not my problem. I don't know what this is. And then I get a message from the woman that it was about. The woman sent me a lengthy message, and I have it right here. She doesn't want to be part of this, but she already was. The messages are on articles if you guys are interested in seeing that. Let's see. I woke up to a message. Good day. I'm very sorry to bother you. Robert, still your husband, stole $5,100 from my mother. The money was paid for an inverter. My mom is 65 years old, and he came to her house and said what type of inverter she must take.
Okay, so let me explain the situation of how he's managing to do this. So in South Africa, they lose power like once a day, almost every day, maybe sometimes more. So there's elderly people over there that don't need to be without power because they are on equipment, equipment that helps keep them alive in some sort of way. So he was on Facebook Marketplace advertising that he had inverters for sale. Inverters are kind of like generators here, I guess. So if you have an inverter in South Africa, you can keep your power on. When it goes out, you can keep it on. So he was advertising on Facebook Marketplace that he had inverters. And I looked up the prices for inverters, and depending on how big of a size you get, they can be really expensive. So from my understanding, he was advertising these inverters for half price, or really good deals, right? Really good deals. That way, people would be more inclined to get them. And now these elderly people who really needed them but could never find a deal like this, they jumped at the opportunity to get one through him. So that is how, from my understanding, mainly the people that he scammed are elderly people because, yeah, oxygen medication that needs to be kept in the refrigerator. Exactly, B. So I don't even think he had the inverters, Haley. I don't even think he had them because, to my knowledge, he's never delivered one yet. That's just to my knowledge, and I could be wrong. But so far, I haven't seen anybody say they actually got the inverter. So either way, he's advertising the inverters. Elderly people are contacting him. Like one lady gave him like her life savings, to get this inverter, and he never showed up with it. So, anyways, that's why this inverter comes into play and how he's going about doing this.
The money was paid. Monday passed, no inverter. Tuesday passed, da 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 da. At the end of the day, it was this big deal. She made a big deal on social media. And then only when it was in an article on Instagram did he say, oh, my image is in danger. People are about to see past the beautiful portrait that I put there for them, right? The little sad dad that can't talk to his daughter, good dad, the little facade that he loves for all of you to believe. So that's what happened. Oh no, everyone's about to find out. Let me talk to these people and tell them to take it down, and I'll make sure I pay her. How he got that money is very funny. Try to figure it out, put two and two together. Who did he get that money for? I mean, who did he get that money from? Let's all take a wild guess. His little ATM. Anyways, moving past. He ended up paying her back. And since then, I asked her, did you want to contact these people to be, to like basically call him out on his shit? She said, nope, I got my money back. I don't ever want to hear his name again. We're done with this. Like, I just need to stay far away from him. So that happened. Anyways, so that was done. Big deal. And I said, no problem. She doesn't want to be part of it.
Okay. So that's how Tiffany was approached again recently, okay? And it was by this one lady. She did get her money back, so she didn't want to move forward with pressing charges. Okay. Now, this is what I was told, that they do believe. We know there's more people that's come out, and I'm going to show you some posts, but they believe there's even more than what's come out. But the other people just aren't tech savvy enough to go on websites or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook enough to actually look for him and make a big deal out of it. It's being said that they feel like the rest of the people are older because it seems that he has been targeting elderly people. And when Tiffany did talk about this, like initially, she got another message like, "Oh, hold up! Like that's happening to me too. Like he did the same thing to me too. Like I become really good friends with him, or I thought so, and he borrowed money from me, or something along those lines, right?" Um, so I'm sure there are more who just don't know how to handle the situation. They don't have his ID information. They don't have access. They don't have an address. They've been blocked on Facebook. So they literally have no way to contact him and figure anything out. Now, as far as his mom, she does not know like the current situation, but she also doesn't want to be involved in any of his shenanigans anymore. She's tired of dealing with his issues. She's tired of his issues affecting her life. She feels very humiliated by past actions. The girlfriend also knows what's going on, but possibly don't know the extent of what's going on. And Ronald is probably lying to her as well. Ronald has allegedly scammed people in his family, more recently, his uncle. His uncle was trying to go about it by just scaring Ronald and humiliating him by posting stuff online to get Ronald just to pay him back because he didn't want to go press charges on Ronald and actually put him in jail because he knows at the end of the day that if he goes and press charges on Ronald, Ronald's mom is going to suffer. So he didn't want to do that. The police have been contacted multiple times in regards to this scammy situation. Ronald does not stay at the home where they've tried to make contact. So the police allegedly have tried to make contact with him, but he has not been there. Okay. And he also made claims that he did not believe that Carly was his biological daughter out of anger, which is BS. All right, now let's go look at some of the posts, you guys, that's been put up, okay? Like, how dare you? I don't like men like that. Like they get mad and then all of a sudden the child ain't theirs. You know, like say that when you're not mad if that's how you feel, you know? Like if you okay. So as you guys can see, this is called Scam Alert in South Africa. Please do not buy anything from Ronald Avo Smith. He took R38820 from me and did not give me my solar. He made a promise of paying me back on January 8, 2023, but he did not pay. He made an appointment with me today, 5/8. This is 4 months later, 5/8, 2023, and did come to light. I did make a case. Please, this guy's having a gambling problem and stealing people's money. And here is his post. Hybrid inverters plug and play for 4,700. I don't know how this converts to like money or whatever, but whatever. And it says join Facebook 2009. This is his name. It has 4.5 stars, which is probably from him. I'm not sure. Then that's his picture. She's put his picture up, and that says looks like that champ from 90 Day Fiance. And it said it is him. Sad that he is not a good guy. Stole our 38,840 from me. So sorry to hear, but what goes around comes around. I firmly believe in karma. Another one of his Facebook accounts, it says, I sell honestly. Look at this. It says, I sell honestly and in it to hope the buyer gains something instead of losing money. And now here's their text messages, but they are literally like not in English, so I could not read them. But and I've spent so much time like watching this whole like first season and watching Tiffany's lives. When I saw that these were in a different language, I was like, I'm not going through these. But essentially, what it is it's them talking over the inverter and everything that's going to happen, and then him like not showing up, right? All right. Now there's one post. Hold on, let me see. And now here's another post. Please don't buy from Ronald Ava Smith. He will take your money. Don't give you the promises products you bought. I will load all communications of payment, also agreements that he will pay. And then it shows, which is really sad because his children are on these photos. You know what I'm saying? It's now being put out there to show that he's a scammer. His children are being put in there. But it is being said that the police have been involved. They have been out to his house, and he has not been there. Also, as far as Tiffany, she has talked about this on her page, and she did say that she just wishes him the best and wish that he would do better so that her daughter could have a father that is not such a terrible example. With everything that he's doing right now, he's just going to be a bad example and end up hurting her. So it's really sad. I don't know what the dude got going on. And, like I said, these are all allegations. It's just allegations that people are putting out there that we're talking about and we're going to cover. Now, he did respond to this, okay? He responded to the claims that he scammed this particular woman, this Margaret lady, okay? Let me find what he said. This was another post that she put up. Yeah, and I don't know if he's picked up some other sort of tradition. I'm fluent in liars of late, unfortunately. Can you translate that, B? No way. I don't know if he has relapsed in his addiction to gambling, or if he's picked up some other sort of addiction. Which either way, it sucks and it's sad, and he needs to get help if that's the case. All right, so here it is. Please don't buy an inverter from Ronald Smith. He's from Rodport. We paid him for the inverter, but never received the inverter. After constant communication, he promised to give our money back, but he just ended up blocking my number. Ronald Smith steals your money. Don't buy any inverters from him. He's on Facebook Market. He will be reported today. All right, so Ronald, this is his side of the story. He said, I did not scam her. He said that he helped the woman secure an inverter, and when he was on his way to deliver it 2 hours away, she got impatient. I'm sorry, but there was like communication like over the course of like 4 months for one of these. So he explained, she told me as I'm on my way, I must cancel and refund her. She kept saying refund, refund. I was like, okay. Then I turned around, took the stuff back the following day, and then the supplier did a refund. However, he said that the buyer had not received the money yet because it takes 3 to 5 days to reflect in her account. He said she is mad because refund is not immediate, but I'm going to sue her for name slandering. Meanwhile, after speaking with Ronald, a source assured us that Madeline had since received a refund, which Tiffany did say that after it was like put out there, that he did issue the refund, and wherever he got the money from, maybe the girlfriend or whatever. Either way, sad situation, and it's being said that they're, that he is going to get some trouble for this, and his mom is just kind of over it. Tiffany is over it. She goes live on Instagram. She has her own little business. She does lives where she does her makeup, and she has like different makeup called, I think it's called Addie Rose. And I don't know how long it's been since Ronald's seen Carly, But if he, with the criminal history that he already had, keeping him from the United States, how does he ever expect to see his child continuing down this path? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never let my child go to South Africa by themselves. Like, if they were going to go, I would have to go, and then I have to fit around my schedule. So it would be a lot easier if he could come to the States to visit his child, you know? But he's not, like, could he even do that with the record that he has? I don't know. But it does seem like he's in a new relationship. Not new. He's been with this new girl for a minute now. Let's see. Oh, Kale is so pregnant. Gosh, she's pregnant. I can just tell. Okay. Sorry, I'm on Instagram to look at something and I can see that Kale's pregnant. Ronald. It sucks that, like, he's got all this going on. If it's true. It's all allegedly. Here is his oh wow, signs that you're a bitter baby mama. If he has a record, he wouldn't get a visa for the US. Yeah, definitely not gonna happen. And he's been arrested several times. Y'all, why does she look kind of like she could be related to Tiffany? Ronald has a type. She definitely looks like she could be. I mean, Tiffany's prettier in my opinion, but she definitely don't she look like she could be like Tiffany's like sister or something? Two peas in a pod. Love it here at Dreambox. What a fun time we had. Like always, I had an amazing day with you. I don't know, Ronald, but if you are doing shady things, do better. You got a child, do better. Anyways, you guys, I've been hearing about this for a while. I've been working on this for a while. Really wanted to kind of get caught up with everything. So I literally watched the whole like first season that he was on again. Took so many notes on this, and it's sad. It's really sad. I hope that he'll go back into rehab. If he is conning people, I hope he goes into rehab. Even his mom. And it's so sad when you watch season one to see how much him and Tiffany loved each other, to see how much him and Daniel loved each other, to see how much his mom loved him. And leaving the rehab, she hugged that like guidance counselor or whatever and was like, and she told him, she said, I believe in him. Do better. Do better. You deserve it. Your children deserve it. Don't be a scummy scammer. I know. Thank you, B. Anyways, you guys have your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this? Thank you, Magic Wand. Oh, I've been working all morning, Magic Wand, so I hadn't had time to message you back, as well as uh, is Wildflower here? Because I hadn't had time to message her back either. But hopefully this evening I'll get to work today. Trying to get caught up. Anyways, you guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up. Ronald, if you watch this video and you want to give me your side, I'll be down to hear it. Down to hear it. But yeah, anyways, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet, and I'll see you guys back here later. Bye, everyone.